Not probable, like extremely unlikely. Like it would be a disaster for Fury if that happened.
This is Jonathan Agger, 5th Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Matt Macklin. Matt, we're here ahead of Isaac Chamberlain. Mikael Lawal was meant to be bouts Azeez. Disappointing, but the show goes on, I guess.
Yeah, gutted that we're not going to see bouts and Azeez, because I thought that was going to be a really good fight, a really good fight. So very disappointed that hasn't happened, but also very glad that we are here and the show is going ahead, because it's a really good card for one. Lots of competitive fights on it, and also it'd have been a real sort of kick in the teeth for the undercard fighters if they didn't get to fight. They've trained hard. It's kicking the teeth for bouts and Azeez. Don't get me wrong, but it's at least the other guys are getting to fight, because it'd be they've trained hard too. They've incurred expenses. They've made sacrifices, etc. So and also kudos to Boxer and Sky. I think making the decision to move it from the O2 to York Hall was a good shout, because I think there's nothing worse than being in a big arena and it being half empty. And I think with the main event falling off, people that pay tickets, their tickets is for the main event, they'd want to be reimbursed, and or they want to keep that for the whatever, I don't know, the revised date is. So yeah, I think the York Hall on Saturday, I'm guessing it'll be packed out. It'll hold a great atmosphere, and the two fights that are on it, two title fights, as in Chamberlain and Lawal, and also Gilly against Green. Those are two fights that you'd say were made for York Hall, so should be good.
Obviously there's been sort of people debating it on social media, saying, well, was the ticket sales good? And I know you're sort of not really involved in that, but how do you respond to that? I mean, Azeez has been getting a bit of heat for the injury and things like that, but having known Azeez, do you, I'm sure, believe that this is a legit injury?
Oh, it's definitely a legit injury. I mean, I've heard mixed reports about the ticket sales. I heard that they weren't too bad, actually. That's all. It was obviously it wouldn't have banged out the whole O2, but you'd have sectioned it down, and it'd have probably been, you'd have papered it. You'd have cut, maybe blacked out the top tier, and you'd have had a half the O2, like 10,000, which would have been really good. Or even if it was 7,000 or 8,000, that's a good live gate. So I heard ticket sales for what they were anticipating were going quite well. But even if they weren't, that wouldn't be the reason for Azeez to pretend he was injured. Do you know what I mean? He's trained hard. He's going to get. That's not his concern. That'd be the onus would be on Boxer. That'd be their kind of financial hit if he doesn't sell as well. As all promoters take the risk on the gate. So that means that's irrelevant to him. He's not going to pull out for that reason. He's legitimately injured, and heartbreaking. I think now they're kind of trying to get the diagnosis of what exactly is wrong and what that means, because if it's not too bad, then I think they're hoping to kind of postpone it and get that fight on before the end of the year. If it's a worse injury and it needs an operation or something, then obviously that isn't going to happen this year. So I think that's where that's at.
Just moving on, Matt, did you buy your pay-per-view on Saturday night? And if you did, what did you think of the whole YouTube stuff?
No, I didn't, and I didn't even watch it, to be honest. I don't like. Listen, kudos to anyone that's making money doing whatever they're doing, but it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't. I don't feel entertained by it. Do you know what I mean? In any way, I'm not going to slag it off either, but it just doesn't do anything for me.
Just moving on to next weekend, obviously we've got Fury in Ngannou. Is that inches closer? Do you give him just a puncher's chance in this one? And would it be the biggest shock in heavyweight history if he pulls this off in Ngannou?
Listen, he's obviously got a puncher's chance, but the likelihood of him landing that punch the odds aren't good. You know, you remember, like, don't forget Mayweather McGregor. You got to remember, because like we were in Vegas for that fight. I worked on that fight, so I remember. Now you got to remember, McGregor was probably at his all-time high in terms of his hype. Like, it even predicted the Aldo, that he was going to do Aldo in like 10 seconds, and he did. So people bought into it, and in the MMA world, he was a good striker. You know, I know Ngannou's a good striker too, but I don't know, Mayweather's retired. You know, Fury's at the top of his game. You know what I mean? Like, Deontay Wilder has had 3 fights with Fury and hasn't been able to knock him out. You know, you can't say he's got absolutely zero chance, because, you know, so it's possible you could get hit by a bolt of lightning, couldn't you? It is possible he gets caught and knocked out, but not probable. Like, extremely unlikely. Like, it would be a disaster for Fury if that happened, but I cannot see that happening.
Obviously, should he win, he will be fighting Oleksandr Usyk next. Eddie Hearn reckons that he's not really over the moon to fight Usyk, and realistically, because the money's so good, that's why he's taking the fight. Do you agree or not?
Yeah, I think, but with boxers generally, especially ones who are at the top, they're willing to fight anyone, really. It all comes down to risk-reward ratio, doesn't it? This is for undisputed. There's loads of money in it. That's the reward. The risk is, you know, you're expected to win. Usyk's kind of got nothing to lose in that regard. He's the underdog in it. But he's tricky, really clever, really mobile, hard to... Everyone Fury boxes, he's faster than and he's cleverer than, where I don't know if he's faster or cleverer than Usyk, but then he's massive and he's huge and he's got the reach and he can, you know, I don't know. I think Fury's favourite in that fight. I think he should win it, but certainly it's not a given. It's not a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination. It is still a tricky, difficult fight.
Finally, Matt, it doesn't look like Joshua Wilder's going to happen. In your opinion, why is that fight not happening? And, you know, is there part of maybe Joshua's team that don't want this fight just yet, or what do you think?
I don't know what's happened there. It's a massive fight for both of them. You know, Joshua's already fought Usyk twice. He's, you know, so that, you know, him and Fury hasn't happened. You'd imagine that the next biggest fight available for Joshua would be Wilder. It was one that was really hotly talked about a few years back. Obviously, a lot's happened since then, but it's still a huge fight. I don't know why those. I don't know why those negotiations are broken down. Do you?
Don't know. I mean, it sounds like you know, the money that they were talking about isn't available anymore. But it's a shame for boxing fans.
Yeah, you should. I don't think we don't want to get to a place in boxing whereby this is the amount of money. If it doesn't hit that, then we're not boxing. It should be like, we're boxing and we're going to get as much money as we can. You know, we're going to maximise the revenue, but that's like secondary. The fight, we're going to fight, and now how do we make the most money? Where does it go? What date? But it's like, you can't say we're only going to fight if we get this amount of money. Okay, well, you're not going to get that. So what's going to happen now then? Who are you going to fight? And if you're not fighting each other, how much are you getting for that fight? Do you know what I mean? That's like I just find that like a weird mentality.
Well, we'll see what happens there, but obviously Saturday night is why we're here. Chamberlain, Lawal, should be a good fight. Matt, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, no, cheers.